Very good conference so far. As I look to Rob's computer, and this is not a joke, I see he's actually on Chat GPT, and it says tips for networking. And you guys hear that?
That's true. He can turn it around and show.
Can turn this around? I don't mean to out him, but I that's a serious thing.
This is
turn
actually.
This back.
I'm
I got
actually
some
glad
real
he showed
tips
it. This is an insider secret. This is pretty much my prep for every single show that we do.
You think I'm going to come on here and put one of the Aussies in the elite tier?
I'd vote for Rob of 25,000.
I wouldn't vote for you. I can basically just cheat and get the same bets that they're getting. And
it's weird because you can also pay your bills at the same place where you bet.
This guy talks a lot of trash. He's talked a lot of trash about me, Rob, a lot of people in the community, but he's refusing to show his face.
Touting yourself as a pretty good NFL gambler. I thought you were an idiot.
say testing, I'm a cuck. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The Aussies, going head-to-head with the Aussies. That's what I drew for, and I said, get him, Kirk.
And they call me a mean-spirited name. I don't hang out with them.
The Toronto Maple Leafs at 14-1. It's staring me dead in the face.
I'm already getting, a lot of early. This could be the best Circles Off episode that's ever been done.
Welcome to Circles Off, episode number 166, right here, part of the Hammer Betting Network, and presented, as always, by Pinnacle Sportsbook. We are live here at Circa Sportsbook in Las Vegas at BetBash. I'm Rob Pizzola, joined by Johnny from BetStamp.
And we're also joined by Zach Phillips in front of the camera for the first time ever with his beard.
Yeah. Been getting a lot of compliments on the hair and the beard this week.
So for everyone online in the room, we got the merch finally. I've been calling for this for 4 months. We got the Circles Off merch, going to be available soon, hopefully, Rob. And also, you see 2 Pinnacle sweaters here. These are giveaways, Rob.
These are actually better than the sweaters that Pinnacle gave us that we wear pretty regularly. But we got a Pinnacle sweater here and actually Pinnacle jacket. Someone in the room will leave. 2 people in the room will leave with those today. At the end of the episode, we're just going to randomly generate a seat. If you're in that seat, you're getting the swag. So simple as that. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. And, of course, if you don't know about Pinnacle, make sure you do check them out. If you're in Canada, you're watching this back after the fact, find out what pro bettors have known for decades. Pinnacle is where the best bettors play. You must be 19 plus, not available in the U.S. And as always, please play responsibly. So we're here at BetBash, and had we had an earlier time, maybe a little bit more value in one of the topics we're going to discuss today. But we're going to do a few things today. So first and foremost, we're going to do sort of an evergreen episode on networking at betting conferences specifically, something that can apply to the rest of this conference and future conferences going forward. So I've been in the sports betting game for a long time. A lot of you know that I've consulted for sportsbooks before, so I've been at many of these betting conferences in the past. So just some general tips going forwards on how you can get the most out of these and interacting with other people. Johnny's kind of in the same game, obviously, CEO of BetStamp. He attends these things pretty frequently. So we have some general advice on that. And then the latter half of the episode, we've kind of, last few weeks, have been asking for people to submit their favorite plus EV and minus EV plays. Most of them are non-sports betting related that we got, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go through the best ones. Zach's going to go through them top to bottom. If you did submit a play, you're eligible to win some Circles Off gear. So we're going to do a raffle for that in one of the upcoming episodes for anyone who did submit one of those moves. And we'll just have some fun with it. But yeah, I mean, how's things been for you so far?
Very good conference so far. As I look to Rob's computer, and this is not a joke, I see he's actually on Chat GPT, and it says tips for networking. And you guys hear that?
That's true. He can turn it around and show.
Can turn this around? I don't mean to out him, but that's a serious thing.
This is
turn
actually.
This back.
I'm
I got
actually
some
glad
real
he showed
tips
it. This is an insider secret. This is pretty much my prep for every single show that we do. It's a starting point for me. He doesn't show the work document that's also here as well. But yeah, I like to start as there's another plus EV move. Use AI technology to your benefit whenever you can. I came from Europe prior to this conference. I'm completely gassed. It feels like past midnight for me. So sometimes you got to take these little stack edges, basically. That's what we do as sports bettors. So anytime my mind starts to trail off, I can always just go back to that and be like, all right, this is what I wanted to talk about. So But I appreciate you outing me, man.
Sorry, buddy.
That's exactly.
Listen, in terms of the networking tips, I only really have one that's important, and I think it's valuable for anybody in any conference. I've been to a ton of conferences in my day, whether they're like betting related, sports related, anything business related. And the main thing that you guys want to do, that I want to do, is just make sure you come in with a plan of exactly what you're going to say to people and the image that you want to portray and how you want to come off to people. Because this is something that is easily achievable if you come in with a plan, and very hard to do if you don't come in with a plan. So when it relates to this conference, like, listen, you guys are all, for the most part, pros or guys who are in the betting space, so you know how the industry works, right? So it's so much better if you can come to someone and immediately kind of give them something that they can recognize you with. So if you're a mover who can get down, you come in, you say, yeah, listen, this is what I do. I can move, I can get down, here's where I'm from, here's what I can do, I can get you this, I can get you accounts, I can get you this. This is just a way to now stick out, and you're providing value off the start. And if maybe you're on the other end of things, say, hey, I have really good, I got really good golf and tennis bets. That's what I do. I do golf and tennis origination. I do this, this, and this. I'm looking to get down on golf and tennis. Do you know anyone that could help me? An amazing thing to ask always, just, hey, do you know anyone that can help me with what I'm doing? Because chances are, like, even just within this room, which is a small subset of BetBash, there's so many people that could connect you with one or two people. That's going to, I wouldn't say change your life, but change the way that you do business. And maybe for some people it might be worth a couple $100, for others tens of thousands, and for others potentially maybe millions in lifetime value of the partnership.
Yeah, so just to piggyback off of that, one thing that I think is very valuable is and this isn't just for sports betting conferences or anything, it's just like having a quick elevator pitch of yourself. People have very short attention spans generally. I don't mean to generalize, but a lot of you probably attended speed networking this morning, right? And you go through 15 rounds of interviews. By the time you're at like 12, 13, 14, after a while, it's kind of hard to get going and get into it. If someone's really long-winded, it's very easy for that person to not get their point across, or for your attention span to go somewhere else. So going in, just generally in life, 30 to 60 seconds, being able to explain what you do very succinctly to the point, I think that's extremely valuable. It's kind of just piggybacking off of what Johnny said there. So I agree with everything that you said, but just be able to consolidate it, make it very concise, and not span in too many different directions. Like, what do you want to get across really quickly? What will that person remember you for? I think that's really important. I saw Tabitha Bradley from Stacks STX in Ontario tweet something yesterday, which I found funny about, there's going to be a lot of men at this conference. Make sure you're wearing deodorant and chew some gum, brush your teeth. Honestly, really sad that I should even say this, but personal hygiene at these things is so important. When you're in crowds of people, we were at the Overhang Bar last night. I see a lot of faces that I talked to last night there. It's a lot of people crowded together in the space. Have some drinks, go up to Legacy Club. A lot of people crowded together. It's not great when you're standing next to someone who reeks. Let's be honest. Bring gum with you. These little things, first-time impressions are so important in life. I used to work in the product space. Obviously, a lot of people know my story, but whether it's the sportsbook side of things, working for the Score, for their enterprise app, for BetStamp, first-time impressions are extremely important. Lots of times you lose somebody the first time around, you're just never going to get them back. So hygiene, looking when I say looking normal, look the part. This is a conference of 99% males and whatever, sports betting, it's okay. But you're going to a more professional conference, dress the part. You're going out at night, make sure you smell okay, your hair's done up, you look normal. So to me, that's a very important thing. And maybe it says a lot about me being a judgmental person when I first meet someone, but it sticks out to you. So I think that's something to keep in mind generally going forwards as well. Johnny smells pretty good right now, by the way.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And then on last thing I'll say on this is it's really important to recap, not just for yourself, but more for the other person as well. So when you have a conversation with someone, just recap at the end of it before you leave. All right, great to meet you. This is what we could potentially do together, right? So it's okay, great to meet you. you're from Arizona, you do this, this, and this. I'm going to connect you with this and this person. We could potentially set up a call to discuss this and this. Here's my contact, here's your contact, and potentially even just write it. What I like to do is like send, let's say somebody adds me on Telegram or something like that. I'll send them the message of exactly like what we talked about in the call. That way it's just there and we have it in there. So I can refer to this back next week and realize exactly, okay, this guy's from BC, he does this, he's interested in this, he wants to buy this, he wants to get connected with this. Here you go. If you don't do this, what's going to happen, and this happened to me for my first couple of conferences, you'll leave with a stack of business cards or a stack of names or numbers. You'll go home, and then you'll realize, I have no idea who any of these guys are. Who the hell is this guy? With betting specifically, another thing is like people will introduce you by their name, and then they'll add you on Telegram, and it'll be like, the monster.
It's true. You get the most random Telegram names,
and you have no idea who it is. And then you're just checking your phone. You're like, who the fuck is the Machine 26 with the pic of a machine? And you're like, I have no idea who this guy is. I don't know like what it is. And then next thing you know, next year the guy's like, you never reached out to me, and you're like, oh, well, how would I have even known that? So yeah, make notes. Otherwise, you're gonna get absolutely crushed tomorrow. And by the way, the memory. Maybe some of you guys have like photographic memories, but when you talk to this many people, like after a 2-day conference, as soon as 2-3 days pass and you go home, you're not remembering shit. There's no chance. You're done.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I've already actually had that happen today, honestly. I've been giving people my Telegram name, and I've had a few people like Shelf. I talked to, you know who Shelf is? NHL, NFL props, but it could mean so many people. So yeah, a good recap of what you talked about is great. Just in general, I'm trying to avoid saying in general a lot. Somebody's been pointing that out in the YouTube comments lately.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I have certain verbiage. Yeah, preparing for these things is good. You know, there's nothing worse than the guy who's like, yeah, you know, the night before he's out at the bar like 2 a.m. and, you know, what time is this thing tomorrow morning? Just generally knowing where you're going is probably a good idea. Knowing what talks you want to go to beforehand, carving out space to have meetings if you want to meet with people or network during that time. Like a lot of this is common sense stuff, but I come to a lot of these conferences, and as much as it would seem like common sense, you know, you get a lot of people asking, where's this at? Where's that at? It doesn't take too long. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes. You can be in your hotel room when you check in and just kind of plan out your week. So that always goes a long way. And you're here, like you're in Vegas. I know, I want to say maybe a quarter of you that are in here. A lot of you are not local. You've flown from a long way. Like attend social events and be social. You get a lot out of just having conversations with people at the bar. Like I'm not saying go and gamble your life away at the craps table or whatever, but you see a group of guys there, you might want to stop by and say hello and introduce yourself and maybe bet with people. I see one guy here that I met last year and cost me a lot of money playing dice, but now I know him for life, and I know what he does, and I can exactly who he is. He's made an impression on me and other people. So like that type of stuff is important. So ultimately, like sometimes conferences, they're not the best. Sometimes they're great, but you can make them better just by like simple preparation and really just being a little bit social for that. So that's kind of like the best pieces of advice I can give. And again, like a lot of it's very general or seems to make like common sense, but you can then walk around and like a lot of people don't do this stuff. They just play it by ear, and that's fine, to each their own, but I would say that a little bit of preparedness, it's very similar to sports betting. I think it goes a long way in making sure that you extract the most out of the people that are around you. And like this conference in particular, me and Johnny we were able to chat with Jelko today for like an hour. For those that don't know, like one of the most successful bettors on the planet. And you just don't get those opportunities in life to learn from like people who've made billions in the betting space, which sounds absurd to like a lot of us who bet on a regular basis. Like you just don't have that access to these people. And when you do, make the most of it because it can go a long way. Like I said, first impressions are very important. Sometimes people just remember you stick out, and that matters.
for everybody who came to this room today, and just as like a thank you, I guess what we wanted to offer between Rob and I was, when you meet somebody, their network also becomes your network in a lot of ways, and they can make introductions. So if there's anybody that maybe is like a former guest of Circles Off, or that me and Rob might know personally, anyone in this room, just come up to us after, say, hey, I really would like to meet this guy. I'd really like to meet Rufus for whatever reason.
No.
If you meet Rufus, this is what he's going to say. You're going to say, hey, Rufus, how's golf betting going? And he's going to say, so what's your goal in life? For those of you who have met him, that you'll hopefully get that joke. Hopefully he's not too mad that I said that here. But yeah, everybody, thanks for coming. And please reach out after the show. And anyone that's here, we'd love to make an introduction. And if you're a listener at home on the YouTube or on audio, and there's really somebody that you wanted to make an introduction to or you wanted to meet, then shoot us a note on Twitter at CirclesOffHQ, or email circlesoff@thehammer.bet, and we'll try to do what we can.
All right. Plus EV, minus EV is a staple of Circles Off. Do you remember how that started? Do you have any idea? Zach, do you?
I think we just wanted
is
to
this
add
guy
something
in
else.
here? No way.
What?
Oh, I'm so happy for this question. Go, Zach. Sorry, I'll save it to the end.
I think we just wanted to add something else that we could do life-related with betting as well.
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember how it started, but it's kind of come full circle, and it's been a pretty big thing. And I had reached out to some people privately about this, and we're the late time slot here at BetBash. It's 5 o'clock. People have been up since early in the morning. We didn't want to make this like too heavy of a day. I know a lot of people have attended panels that are, it's a lot. There's a lot to process, and we kind of want to have some fun with it, and make a larger segment out of a segment that's typically a part of our show. So we've requested that people submit their best plus EV, minus EV moves. We got a bunch of them. Zach has filtered through all of them. I've tried to avoid seeing as many as possible, as has Johnny. And we're going to kind of go through them and react to them in real time. And if we get some audience interaction as well, and anyone is like vehemently opposed or disagrees with anything, let us know as well. And we'll just try to have some fun with it.
Before we get into this, if someone could shout out, what's your like least favorite plus EV, minus EV that either of us have ever said?
Does anyone know?
Like,
you don't like the airport. Shine doesn't like going late to the airport.
That's your favorite one.
He loves going.
The shower beer. I don't know what.
That's a good beer.
Have you tried a shower beer?
No, sir, I have not.
Well, you can't knock it till you try it. See, like, very mixed. I mean, plus EV, minus EV really has just become like very strong personal opinions. Like that's how that's what it's evolved into. Yeah. But
a lot of these are very divisive. You get split 50-50 two-way action on these things.
Except for Kanish's smoothie bowl, that was just bad.
Yeah,
I'll give the one I agreed with the least was when Rob said that instead of ice, use frozen grapes.
That's a good one. Shine is at the back.
Me and Shine.
Okay, people, like let's paint the picture here. You're outside. You have a drink in your hand. You got ice cubes in it. Whatever. You're doing something else. You put the drink down. You go back 10 minutes later, and the entire thing is water. If you freeze grapes beforehand and you use those as ice cubes instead, they don't melt. It still keeps the drink cold. It doesn't make the drink taste like grapes in any capacity. I don't know how this could be controversial in any. It's very clearly a great alternative to ice cubes.
You could also just get those cups that you put in the freezer.
Yeah.
Whiskey Stones
would
exactly
work as
way
well.
better than grapes.
You can do anything.
Grapes are now altering the chemical flavor of your
they're
thing
not.
and adding
They're
sugar
not
to your
altering
drink.
The chemical. This
yes,
is absurd.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, you can eat the grape afterwards. Exactly.
You could just eat grapes if you want. Okay, Zach, go ahead. Let's get some going here.
Okay, these are not necessarily because we agree with them or disagree with them or think that they are, but we want to react to them. I'm going to start with my favorite one. It's two-part. They go together. Negative EV. This is from Play the Seniors. Buying your own Formula One car. Positive EV. Spending a year building your Formula One car.
Okay, now that we actually have a live audience,
guys, I'll build the car.
Who thinks Johnny could actually this is? Remember, this is the pinnacle of automotive engineering here.
Hey, don't bias somebody. Who thinks I could build the car? Hands up.
Build a Formula One car from scratch. He's got the pieces.
Stop biasing. Stop biasing. We know what it is.
No.
Yes, I have every tool and a full year. Okay, so it was about 6 people. All right, now how many people think I can't build it?
Yeah, it's the room.
So we're about 7-1, and I would take this bet at 2-1.
Can't is different than won't.
Well, exactly.
Oh, certainly I won't build it. That's
yeah.
I'll admit, I'll come clean on that. Certainly I won't build it. It's never going to happen, but I can do it.
Yeah.
That's like crazy. I come from a family of like drag racers, and that's a lot more simple of like engines to build in Formula One, and they can't build those engines by themselves.
They can. They can. What else we got here?
Yeah.
There's been multiple times when people have came up to me and said, yeah, I'm in this space and you can do it. And there's also been multiple times when people have came up to me and said, I'm in this space, I work for this, and you can't do it. So we're split on both, but there has been like credible experts, if you want to call that, on either side of the argument as well.
One of the funniest things I notice in our YouTube comments is whenever me and John, we disagree a lot on things. That's kind of the reason I actually really like co-hosting with Johnny. It's much better when someone's disagreeing with you than like someone who's always agreeing with you on everything. But whenever we have a big disagreement, there's always somebody in the YouTube comments that comes out that is like claims to be the biggest authority, like expert in the space.
And it's not true. I said, hey, don't drink tap water. Next episode, I'm a professional tap water tester. I'm like, no, you're not, bro.
Treatment.
We don't have that many listeners.
It's like we only have a certain amount of listeners. There's no way one of them
bro.
is
every time, bro. There's somebody who's like, no, actually, I've worked in this for 38 years at the factory. No chance.
It's like Pawn Stars when we call my buddy who's an expert in tap.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic. All right, Zach.
All right. Well, you talked about disagreeing. I feel like this one you will. Negative EV. This comes from Boomer_Tune. Negative EV. Looking for a better parking spot when you're pulling into a grocery store lot. Driving around each lane takes much longer than just parking at the first spot you see and walking to the store.
Highly agree. That's negative. Unless it's raining or snowing pretty hard, in which case might be worth it to wait the extra 30 seconds. But highly agree. Yeah, just park and go. You're probably going to spend more time going around the lot.
What if you need your extra steps in?
Well, I mean, the parking lot's not getting you your extra steps. Come on, it's like taking 50 steps to the door.
You know what? I'll touch on this right now because this is a pet peeve of mine. Whenever you say something like, live close to where you work so that you can cut your commute time, and there's always people that say, but it's more healthy to walk an hour, or like,
why don't you just talk directly to Zach?
Yeah, it's more healthy to walk an hour. You could go to the gym. You could walk an hour. Like, you don't do that, and then people say, oh yeah, well, if I had a dog, I'd go for walks. If you're getting a dog just to go for walks, you've already failed. You've already lost.
Yeah. You can download Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that was Rob's. That's the one I actually disagree with the most.
That got me walking a lot. It did get me walking a lot.
Pokemon Go, man.
I like on the parking spot thing. I just always like to find. I park away from other cars. I don't know if this is just like me or other people. I just don't like to be parking around other cars. It's not like I drive the best car in the world either. I just like to find a spot that is kind of on its own somewhere else, and I'll walk the extra 10 steps. Like I don't really get it.
Yeah, good move.
From Port Art 12. Negative EV. Owning an exercise ball. They're huge, take up way too much space, aren't stackable. If the kids get a hold of it, they're about to be throwing it around the house and destroying things. Just use something else, not worth it.
Owning an exercise
That's a weird one.
That's why I put it in there.
I will say this. There's secondary functions for an exercise ball. So I don't know if those of you who have like back pain from sitting, a lot of sports bettors, if you don't have a good chair or you're just in your seat for a long period of time, you get some back pain or whatever. Exercise balls are actually really good to sit on and work on, especially the really large ones. Improves your posture a lot. You have to sit upright. You can't like hunch over a lot. Like minus EV owning an exercise ball, how small is like where you're living that you can't
it depends on the size. Depends on the size of the room.
If you have a 400 square foot condo, sure, like don't own an exercise ball. But if you have a house, I'm sure you could throw it in a closet somewhere. They take up too much space. I don't know.
Play the seniors again. This is another good one. Call back to something else. Plus EV, when buying out syndicates, Keep your $5,000 in multiple duffel bags. You wouldn't want one to get jacked on the way to meet and lose it all at once. Your partners might force you to move to Hawaii.
Does anyone not know this story? Yeah, we should probably repeat this. I have like a personal vendetta against Simon Hunter from the Action Network. We did an episode long ago. It's our highest viewed episode where we did a reaction to Simon Hunter talking about his betting syndicate, which is clearly he's just like a tout and he has a list and he doesn't know what the actual definition of a syndicate is. He has a client list. He releases plays and he doesn't know any better. But he was on a podcast where he was talking about how he gives duffel bags to his runners overnight to go bet for him. And it's like, did he say it was $5,000?
$5,000 in a duffel bag.
And obviously, like for those who know what $5,000 looks like, you can put $5,000 in your pocket.
I literally have $5,000 on me right now. This is gonna have to be stricken from the air. This is how big it is.
Like you would definitely not need a duffel bag for that. So that's kind of one that always comes back. So, some people just have like a way of telling on themselves. They think like they're the smartest person in the world and say things, but. Yeah, even when with $1 bill, what do you think $5,000 worth of $1?
Still not even a duffel bag.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
Still
not even a duffel bag.
This is from Pedactyl. I might have said that wrong, but negative EV, scheduling a wedding during the NFL season.
Oh, agreed. Yes. What a negative EV move. I would get a lot of agreement here in the crowd. Absolutely.
Nothing worse.
Yeah, do a summer wedding.
What about scheduling your wedding on the day of the Euro Cup finals?
Oh.
That's not even that bad.
This is a shot at
You're also
co-founder of BetStamp, Julian Packer, who did have his wedding on the Euro final.
That's not as bad as a college Saturday. Because like, what are you really betting on the Euro Cup final? Like,
people were
grind that out?
Watching the game on.
I'm more talking about making money here. Not even talking about. I'm talking about making money. Like, what are you trying to bet? You're going to bet on the Euro Cup final? You don't have that crazy of an edge there. You're going to have a few things down.
It's a big game.
But it's one game. It's one game.
Yeah,
college football Saturday, you got hundreds of opportunities. Like you're leaving money on the table. Thank you, Drew.
You're thinking about it for you as a bettor.
Yes, I am thinking about it for me as a bettor.
But for like an average person, they would much rather. They'll skip a college Saturday. They would rather watch like one big event, Euro Cup final. Yeah. I get it. I get what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know. Like football season weddings, do people have problems with that? Like,
yes.
Yeah, you do? I guess it's because I don't bet a lot of college football, so I'm
I don't go.
Biased.
I don't go unless it's like a serious one I really have to go to. Unless I don't go.
What do you tell them? You just like RSVP? No, I'm working college football Saturday. Like,
I just say I have another wedding.
That's a plus EV move right there. Nobody can argue that. Sorry, I got another wedding.
That's the best.
This from Ontario EV Bets. Negative EV. Filling up on gas when it's not empty. Roll into the gas station with that gas light on. You'll make it.
Oh, this is just an extension of your airport take.
Yep, I agree. I'm trying to process this. I haven't had a gas car for a while, but yeah, because you can never really, you can't fill past 100. So you maximize the least amount of gas station trips per year, unregretted gas station hours. Yeah, I'm with them.
More than 3 times I rolled in neutral with the engine off.
More than 3 times.
More than 3.
Wow.
Has anyone here got stuck on the road?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ran out of gas.
The 3 times there were about 5 times where I didn't make it all the way to the end.
He left that out conveniently. You notice how he led.
We talk about the wins.
Yeah. Oh man.
Talk about the wins.
Kramer, that's a classic Seinfelder. Yeah, that's a classic. Yeah, I don't know. I have an electric car, so I don't have a strong take on this. But
I'm just realizing anyone listening on the YouTube tomorrow is not going to hear any of the crowd comments and just
the mics are good on it. The mics are good. They'll pick it up.
Yeah,
pick it up.
This from JD right here. Plus EV paying with cash at the bar. Don't have to wait on the bartender to close you out, so you can leave when you're done much faster, and they appreciate the tips more. This one I don't think we deal with as much though in like Toronto. I just, as soon as they come on my phone, like it's just immediately, I just pay on my phone. I'm done. Like they bring the thing. With
it's different. Canada's quite different.
Like they just
with
bring
the,
the machines to you.
Yeah.
We can't comment on this one, but I think anything you could do to plus TV, close out your tab.
I pay everything.
Sure.
I pay everything in cash. Like sports bettors, I pay everything in cash. I mean, it's easier. It's easier for me than carrying, like opening a tab. The problem when you open a tab is you have to wait at the end for it to be closed out.
Yeah,
I get all my. I pay in credit. I get all my receipts. Track them in Betstamp.
Okay, this is from Chip Singleton. Plus EV, buying the upgraded Wi-Fi on a not short flight. Insane to not want to pay the $8 to $15 to retain access to the outside world when all you're doing is sitting in a chair for the next couple hours.
Absolute best plus EV move by a mile. Always buy the Wi-Fi. That's just, if you're not buying the Wi-Fi, you don't even know what you can miss. Like just even personal emergencies or things where you need to be on there. He said on a not so short flight, even a short flight, I'll buy it. Hour flight, whatever. How broke are we? We can't pay like $10 for Wi-Fi. And you say, if the plane doesn't have Wi-Fi, obviously it is what it is. But just to be able to respond to something, you never know when someone might need you, and you can respond right away. You don't have to go downtime. Last thing you want is to pull to a new city after you're there. You look at your phone and like you have to deal with like 17 things now.
I don't buy Wi-Fi usually, but I also sleep for most of the flight. Like
even if you're sleeping, I'll buy it. I'll buy it and sleep.
No.
I'll buy it and sleep just so I can, just in case. I wake up, I can check it.
What about betting from the Wi-Fi?
Well, Moreto's in attendance. Moreto can confirm that you can bet on the Wi-Fi from the plane. Oh, you actually bet on the plane.
Every flight.
You do that every flight. That's a good way to pass time. Yeah.
That's good value.
That's good value. That's good.
It's the last place where you have a legitimate excuse for people not to be able to reach you. It's like the last refuge of peace and quiet.
I like. You don't resonate with that.
I don't like peace and quiet. I don't like peace and quiet.
You don't resonate. I don't buy Wi-Fi. I do occasionally, but like I buy it when I wake up and I can't fall back asleep and I got nothing else to do.
If I don't get a message if I don't get at least a message every half hour, I start messaging other people.
By the way, I gotta like play. Air travel really, really bothers me. But one thing that I never thought would bother me in life, big time minus EV move, is watching any movie with nudity on a plane. And you don't know it's coming, and then it just like hits hard, and like everyone around, the person behind you is like watching your screen as well. It's like kids over there, like what the fuck is going, like trying to like rewind. They need real war something. I don't know. I'm just mashing buttons. Like I don't know. It's paused on the screen. I'm trying to like they need real. Like how could they not present you with a warning before you watch the movie of like this time in the movie is like you might want to skip through it. Like it's
Netflix should have like an airplane mode.
Something. There needs to be something. I've been caught with that a few times recently. It's not a good look. Like you're just sitting next to a random person, like they're looking over at you. It's very weird, weird and uncomfortable.
This one I just wanted to say before we get into some of the more like serious one or advice ones. I tweeted this one out. The Methodologist plus EV move of the week. Skip the circles off intro. You don't have to hear Kanish. Fair enough. Or see a homeless guy that supposedly does the producing.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Wow. You got
supposedly does the producing.
Roasted.
Not even worried about the homeless guy part. Sure, fine.
Supposedly
does the producing.
Yeah, he does the producing.
That's a dagger.
What do you spend on production for a Circles Off episode?
Me?
Not money. I gotta look through.
I don't know.
You don't spend nothing.
You do the finances.
Yeah.
It depends on the length of the episode. Like Trent Hill, 3 hours was probably about like 5-6 hours of post-production and like the 3-hour recording that we did. But like shorter ones, not as bad. Guest interviews takes a little bit longer because sometimes trying to like clean them up or add more cuts or put the guest in more or whatever. But yeah, usually about the length of the episode times like 1.5. Yeah.
At Overhang Bar yesterday, the Trent Hill episodes are like widely regarded as some of our best episodes. But the most recent one, someone's like, you should have made that 5 hours. You guys should have just kept going. It was such a great chat. True story, which was cut out of the episode, but probably like about 10 minutes before we stopped, he's like, I'm sorry guys, like I have to eat. Like, he's like, I have to eat dinner. My wife it's just been sitting here for an hour. Like, go eat, man. Like, you should have just told us earlier. So poor guy was waiting the whole time. We should have actually left that in, honestly. We should leave some of that stuff in sometimes.
This is from Adam Orphan at AOrphan67. Negative EV, putting a lot of weight into what outsiders think of you or what path you are traveling. Outside noise is just distracting.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I don't read the comments. I just let Zach send them to me.
Every week posts a comment into our Circles Off chat. He says he doesn't read the comments every single week, yet he posts a comment every single week. That rattles.
No, I don't read them.
Yeah. There's a few more here. This one from Rufus. Plus EV, beating Rob Pizzola at golf. Does this qualify me for some swag?
Rufus. I don't even want to talk. Guy sandbagged me so hard. Like, any guy who tells you that they're handy, like they don't keep track of their handicap in golf and then they estimate what it is, don't trust these people. It's all fucking bullshit. I played him on Monday. Told me he was like a 10 handicap and shot a 75. Absolute joke. And then I saw his brother that night explain the story. He's like, there's no way he's a 10 handicap. Like, we play every day. Completely sandbagged me. I don't actually want to hear Rufus's name again on this podcast. I prefer we don't mention him one more time.
From Plus EV _plays, Plus EV, automatic car starter to turn on AC or heat before you get into the car.
Yeah.
Comfort as soon as you get in.
Yeah.
I've used that as a Plus EV move in the past.
Yeah,
actually.
you've used that before. That was one of the first ones you ever did. That's actually really, if you can, I mean, not everyone has a car that can do that, but if you do, yeah.
It also depends where you live. Like, if it's a cold winter, like, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. And you can't park your car in the garage, start it. Like, ice delay, everything.
I want to share one that I got last night from a guy who told me not to share it because he was so embarrassed. He comes up, I don't know his name. I'll find out his name and I'll mention his name on a future episode just because it's such a crazy Plus EV take that it has to be shared with the world. This guy comes up to me yesterday at Circa and he's like, I got a Plus EV move for the show. I've never met this guy before, didn't introduce himself, nothing. Like, no clue who he is, but obviously very clearly watches the show. He's like, when you leave your hotel after you're going on you check out of your hotel, he's like, get the remote control and take the batteries. and he walked away. He just like moved on with life.
You don't watch Friends?
I don't watch Friends. No, I'm not a friend. Does that happen? Is that a thing? Oh, okay. So that's probably where it came from. I could not imagine never doing that in my life. Like, first of all, like, what do batteries cost? Where you have to take the bat. Like, I've heard of guys who they load up on like the shampoos and body. Like, they bring their own bottles and they're just like pumping and like what? Like, listen, I mean, everybody falls on hard times, but if you're stealing like body washes from hotels and stuff, it's one thing if it's already in like, it's okay, sure, you throw like a little one in your, every now and then if it's a nice soap, I'll take the soap that's unopened and I'll take it home with me or whatever. But like to actually pump the soap into containers and take the bat, and also
those
like
batteries could be at like 22% juice also. You don't even know.
Imagine how upset you would be if you checked into a hotel after like a long day. You sit down on the bed, like you kick your feet up and you like try to turn on the TV, and for sure it's not on the housekeeping checklist. Like, there's no way that they always open up the remote to see if batteries. That was the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life from just like a random dude. I have to find out who that guy was. Have to find out who he was.
Danny K731, Plus EV, letting your wife plan most of the summer weekends. You can point back to that in the fall when she gives you crap for watching football every weekend.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, how many people are married in here? All right, so most of the room, more than half. Yeah, it's just like you got to balance it out every now and then. Can't always have your way. I mean, that's fine. That's a decent one.
Okay. This one, I know Johnny made a comment yesterday and we didn't even have anything, didn't even see this. Plus EV, using a satchel / over-the-shoulder bag. Sometimes a backpack just isn't necessary and you need more than just your pockets. Johnny?
I don't think those look the best.
You don't like those? Yeah, you commented on
I can't really comment further. It's a live podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think those look the best. All right, you got a plus EV or minus EV for this week?
Do we have any more, Zach?
No, those are the best ones.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
So every single one of those that was red, we're going to put you in a draw to win some brand new Circles Off swag. Johnny's wearing the sweater. He won't stand up because he's scared he's going to fall off if he pushes his back.
I fidget too much on the show already.
But we got some new Circles Off swag, so you'll be entered in a draw. We'll be giving a bunch of those away in the upcoming weeks. You got anything?
I did. I'm just going to find in my notes. Go ahead.
I got one.
Go ahead.
This one is the nasal strips. The breathing nasal strips that go on when you sleep.
This is like the 5th time somebody's brought up nasal strips on this show.
They're very, very good. I breathe like I've never breathed before. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then sleep with your mouth closed. I don't know. You wake up, feel better somehow.
Well, of course, because you're actually breathing instead of not breathing.
Yeah. But I discovered that like a week and a half ago. Got them for the first time. They're good. Yeah.
I have some serious sleeping problems. I need to figure something out. I don't snore. My wife says that I poof when I sleep. I just like fall asleep and like Liz puffs and she wakes me up. But I haven't tried nasal strips. I've tried a lot of stuff, but not nasal strips. I got to try some.
You gotta get a sound machine. I just got a sound machine. My wife got me a sound machine. I get the best sleep of my life.
What's a sound machine?
Plus, like a white noise?
Oh, white noise machine. Sometimes I'll fall asleep to green noise on YouTube. That helps, but it depends on the way I fall asleep. If I lay down on my back, I'm going to end up quote unquote poofing. And I'll be shoved over onto my side. But yeah, I don't. You know how many people must really suffer from sleep deprivation, because I actually think this comes up like every 3 episodes that we do. Someone comments on
a better way to sleep is valuable for sure.
Yeah,
I got my plus EV move of the week. This one is so basically, it's for anyone who's living in a big city and has to cross a lot of roads. So basically, this is a variation from a friend who actually sent me this one in the back of the room there, Serge. So basically, if you're in Toronto, when you cross the street, obviously there's the red stop sign and then there's the go for you to cross. However, the drivers are so crazy and there's so many guys on bikes and girls on bikes and stuff like that. My plus EV move is this: ignore the actual hand sign. It doesn't matter. If it says go, you still have to be extremely alert and see like who's actually going. And if it says red, you still have to be extremely alert. So my plus EV move of the week is ignore the crosswalk sign. It doesn't matter what that is. Forget it even exists. Before you cross the road, just make sure 100% that you're not going to get smoked by a bike or a thing, and cross when it's safe to cross as a human being, as opposed to when someone tells you to go, because the other people have no regard for these. And a lot of times there's people making like crazy rights, U-turns, bikes going through, and it can be quite dangerous. So plus EV move of the week, absolutely ignore the crosswalk sign, and just forget it even exists. Go when it's safe to go based on your own mind.
That's fine. I don't disagree with you. I'm just like Zach, you got to put like a disclaimer at the bottom of the episode now, just in case someone go when you go. Yeah,
go when it's safe to go. But yeah, that actually, you know what? That actually might be illegal to jaywalk. Shit.
Yeah. Just the opinion of one person and not everyone else.
It's not financial advice.
Yes. All right. We're going to give away some Pinnacle stuff here. So we got the sweater. We got the jacket. I'm going to do this in like...
Let's just give it away at the end. We got these questions. Want to end the episode now? Yeah. I want to give the questions off air, and then we'll give away the shows.
Sounds good. We're giving away Pinnacle swag. Thanks for tuning in. This has been episode number 166 of Circles Off. We're back next week with a guest episode. Please like, subscribe, do all the stuff down below. Peace out.